Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, I am busy working away on a whole bunch of future stuff, stuff for the rest of the year and beyond. And so I thought that this week I would give you folks a little bit of a preview of one of several things that I am tuning up and expanding for Take and Hold. So none of you may not know this, but when I had originally sort of like laid and planned out the sort of big take and hold redo / facelift where it got, fancy encryption types, I had actually planned out roughly 10 types, not 3. But I just never got around to actually implementing my ideas, as basically every time I thought to do it, I was time pressed on something else I was working on. And so I had a bit of inspiration this week. And so I'm going to show you a couple of the new types that are coming. So just a little bit of context in terms of how these are going to be used. They're going to, because right now the most common is sort of the static kind, some of the hardens appear, and some of the swarms. I will probably, to make a sort of smoother transition, probably tone down the swarm encryption a little bit, just because, well, you'll see, some of these present some other challenges. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. So these ones that you're looking at here are our what's called recursive encryption. And these are sort of a sci-fi implementation of a shoot, no shoot target that penalizes you. In that basically to destroy one of these, we have to get rid of all of its red hit zones, like so. But if we shoot the center, the blue, you will see that it will regenerate. It won't 100% regenerate, but it will most of the time regenerate another one of its crystals. So this is basically a target that privileges patient shooting and penalizes you if you just spam at it. As you can see there, if I'm not aiming carefully, I'm just as likely to make it spawn more hit zones. So, bammo! But with careful aim, can still be dispatched. Let's bring that. Let's get a few more on there. Come on. There we go. Boom. Wonderful. So that is your first new type. The second new type has been with us the whole time. Assume you may have noticed out of your peripheral vision. That's right, stealth encryption. Move this one up here. You can see that it's invisible aside from these momentary glitches with its stealth field. You can also find it with a laser pointer. As you can see, it strikes it even though we can't see it. Bam. There goes that one, stealth field. Let's see if we can find it. Oh. Boom. Got them all. So there is your stealth encryption. Specific. Do we have one more? It's messing with me now. I'm seeing stuff move in my peripheral vision. I'm like, I think there's another one. So yeah, so that one definitely rewards those who patiently observe their surroundings. Our next type, I'm sure, is going to have plenty of you screaming at me. These are agile encryption. As you can see, they sort of rotate to and telegraph where they're going to move to. Whap. And so the best way I found to shoot them is actually sort of zero in on one and almost follow its telegraph line. Ah. Helps to be able to aim in addition to that. Yep, if you're trying to hit them when they're already about to move, you're probably too late. There we go. Got it. So there is your Agile encryption. Both the Stealth and the Agile are one hit. Let's tool on over here. Despin our cord. And come to the last one. Before I walk into here, this one is a little more complex. And the reason for that is that encryptions number 7 through 10, of which this is 7, so I'm only going to preview one of these. These are sort of like boss encryptions in that they not only take multiple strikes, but they're sort of a multi-step component to them. So this one is regenerative encryption. Makes a creepy sound. Now, no, not all of the sounds in VFX are in with these yet. I'm still focusing on their function. But the idea with this one is that it has these growths coming off of it. And if we hit one, as you can see, it regrows it. Now, you might be like, there is no way I could possibly hit all 5 of them before it manages to regrow one. That is correct. Which is why what you have to do with this one is you have to shoot its core to momentarily stun its ability to regrow. When I shoot it, you'll notice its center part will stop rotating. And it will start rotating again, which affects its regrowth speed. So if I shoot it and click there, and I can arrest its growth momentarily by continuing to damage it. So this one was partially inspired by shooting drills that I've seen that are all about shooting a target to the side and then returning to a center one, shooting one at the side center. So going side center, side center, side center, side center for maximum efficiency. Let's see if I can do that now on one mag without making a fool of myself. So boom! And there goes the regenerative encryption. So yeah, as I said, there's the idea with these, and there's going to be 3 more to follow this one, is that they're a sort of, they're not just a single dumb target. They're something that you have to stage a sequence of actions or time your shots and reposition, and that the focus of the wave they will appear in will be the encryption instead of me just spamming you with enemies. So yeah. Anywho, let's jump out of VR and I will talk a bit more about the other stuff that I am working on for Taken Hold. Yo! So, other stuff for Taken Hold. I have been paying attention to the various questions and requests related to this mode that I have been in the comments for the past, good number of updates. I am still working on, and I've got some help, on an outdoor Taken Hold map that is still in production. It's not the one that I had shown a while back. There are a number of reasons that I dropped that map. Some of them tonal, some of them structural, and some of them performance related. I actually made a couple really big breakthroughs involving physics performance and the way I was structuring the levels right after I built that, and I had built it entirely wrong from the perspective of a good physics performance situation. So lesson learned. But in addition to that, especially with how well received the Rotwiener's Taken Hold character has been, I've got a couple more planned, one of which will be arriving sooner than later. I want to do a couple more, to give you an idea, I want to do a couple more sort of meme-tastic meets characters. One is going to be the sort of reincarnation of Akimbo Pistols Parker, in that it will be oriented around sort of like action movie gameplay where you'll have a pistol in each hand, and that character will likely run on infinite ammo power-ups. So you'll probably start with 2 of them, and they'll be very cheap to acquire. So instead of you very carefully taking hallways and things like that and having to use a lot of health power-ups, that character is going to be about just like a machine pistol in each hand with infinite ammo, just mowing down tons of enemies, probably in suits or something like that. So that one is in progress. Another one, because I know there are some of you folks who are like, yeah, this mode's kind of overwhelming. I'm having to shoot targets. I'm getting attacked from all sides. Especially those of you who aren't able to use some of the locomotion modes for one reason or another. And so I'm going to be adding probably 2 other new take and hold characters that are about a lower intensity style of play. One of them is going to be a straight up beginner character that is going to be like 3 holds instead of 5 with a simplified weapon loadout. Basically the sort of thing that, especially if you're introducing someone to H3 or take and hold and want them to try it for the first time, it'll be a good one for them. It won't stomp on them mercilessly like most of the take and hold characters do. And then I'm probably also going to do one that's a little more just casual in general, that's less rushed, still sort of gives you access to the sort of wider range of weapons, but just isn't quite as pushy in terms of having to do things by a certain amount of time and such. There'll still be timers and limits, but it will be way more relaxed in that regards, because I know folks are into different speeds of play. And, you know, one of the core design philosophies of this game from the get-go has been trying to make as much configurable as possible without making a code rat's nest. So yeah, so that is what's going on. That is what is going through my head. In terms of what is going to come next week is probably going to be an alpha. And it's going to be an alpha both to try out some stuff I'm mucking with take and hold, and will probably be the alpha of the streamlined control system that I talked about in a recent devlog. To catch you up on that, if you aren't aware, the whole idea is that it is a control mode for every controller type that has at least 2 standard buttons that are not a 2-axis input and a joystick, with the idea of, instead of using the 2-axis input for weapon function, just using B and A on each controller. It does mean that a couple weapon functions aren't available at all. I'm trying to replicate as many of them as possible, but I want to get some initial feedback on how that works. Obviously, any place in the game that tells you what the controls are will be wrong when you have this mode enabled, so you'll have to sort of fumble with it to figure it out. But once that I'm certain that it's working and everyone digs it, I'm going to go through the horrible process, which is actually making split control diagrams based on which mode you're in for everywhere in the game that conveys controls, which is going to be terrible. So I'd like to make sure that this control mode is what folks want before I do that. Anywho, that's about it for this week. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Hello to all of the new Quest 2 users, which actually, I realized, I don't think I've actually said this in the video. I've only written it places, which is a problem, because no one reads. Just call it, like, frequently asked Quest 2 questions. Can you play the game with one? Yes, over Oculus Link when plugged into a PC that meets the minimum specs, hardware-wise, that are listed on the Steam store page for the game, or using virtual desktop streaming, which is side-loaded with SideQuest, which are like, what do those words mean? Go to the pin thread on the Steam forum. I have links for you over to that universe of stuff. It will not ever be a standalone Quest 2 app, just in case anyone's like waiting, holding out, hoping that will happen. It will not be. This will always be a PC VR game. Anywho, see y'all soon. Peace.